Hey everybody! This painting is inspired by the Gemini zodiac. Now, I would like to apologize in advance because I happen to be a Gemini, only I'm not sorry about that at all. Now, before I get into the Gemini horoscope, I'm going to go over this painting, why I chose these colors, and this technique. So, first of all, Geminis are drawn to yellow. Yellow is the color of a Gemini. And I could vouch for that because I happen to love yellow. And yellow and gold is actually my favorite color combination, especially this gold, which is Pearlized Gold by Master's Touch. I chose my scoop and fold technique for this painting because I love this technique. My colors are each mixed with 1 part paint, 2 parts Floetrol, and for this technique they need to be a little bit on the thicker side, otherwise if they're too thin, the painting might get muddy. The recipe and colors for this painting are listed in the description of this video. Now, where do I even start with a Gemini? Most people hear Gemini and right away they think multiple personalities or two-faced, and I'm going to tell you straight up that is a bunch of bullshit. Geminis are not two-faced, nor are they schizophrenic. However, they're always changing their minds. They're constantly switching opinions. Oh, and by the way, I wanted to throw out there that Geminis don't have much of a filter. They're going to say exactly what is on their mind. Geminis tend to be very indecisive, and I don't mean with big life decisions. I mean more with little things, like when we're shopping at a grocery store. What kind of toothpaste should I get this time? And I'll sit there in the aisle and I will stare at all the different brands, and then I have the worst time making up my mind. Geminis are always thinking. We are always in our heads, constantly. People sometimes will stop and be like, where's your brain? I'm like, I don't know. You really want me to narrow that down for you? But Geminis are constantly thinking and constantly looking at their surroundings, analyzing, and overanalyzing. Geminis tend to get bored very easily, especially when everything is going according to plan, everything is expected. Basically, when everything is very Groundhog Day and everything's going as planned, we get really bored. Geminis could be very unpredictable. So don't be surprised if sometimes they come off as a little bit nuts or crazy. Geminis are definitely social butterflies. You drop them off at a party, and they're going to know everybody. They're going to go around, they're going to network, they love meeting new people. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're introverted or extroverted. Geminis could be both. They need people to recharge, but at the same time, they also need their alone time. I find that most Geminis, including myself, are ambiverts. They can be both extroverted and introverted. I do want to say that this video is sped up ×2 because I don't want to bore anybody, especially Geminis, because they get bored very easily. But I am doing, obviously, my scoop and fold technique. Okay, and I like to scoop and fold from right to left, being that I'm right-handed. Okay, and I'm using a smaller palette there to get some finer lines. Now this looks like one big mess in the beginning, but always turns out great in the end. Okay, and I use that palette there. I'm getting finer lines. I love the way the colors are blending right there. There's a lot of wiggle room for this technique. A lot, and you could always, it's very difficult to mess up, because if there's one part you don't like, just scoop and fold over it. Okay, and I'm right there, I'm loving those blend of black and yellow, golden yellow, black and white with yellow. Some really cool lines that I'm getting there. Also notice that I'm scooping the palette on the side of the canvas because we're going to use all that paint when it's time to spread, or tilt the canvas, I should say. Geminis have a hard time being in touch with their feelings. They have feelings, they're not sociopaths, but they don't really know as to the why they feel certain things. And that's where the changing your mind comes in. well, you know what? I don't feel like feeling like that, so I'm just going to feel something else. Now, a Gemini who is more in touch with themselves will try to sit and reflect and dig as to why they feel a certain way. But man, it is exhausting. If you are a Gemini, journaling usually does help with that. Helps you to kind of write things out, get things out of your head, because there's so much in your head. But it does help to kind of access emotions if you need to. I, for instance, always tend to find some clarity when I journal out my thoughts. It's kind of like your brain is constipated and then you just let it out on paper. Geminis are not one for superficial conversation. How are you? Oh, I'm good. How are you? Over and over until you die. Geminis like more in-depth conversation with substance in it. Right now, as you can see, I'm scooping all the paint that I scraped on the sides of the canvas towards the center, and you can kind of get an idea of what the composition is going to look like. And now for the fun part. Let's start tilting. Again, this video is sped up 2 times because this was a lot longer than it looks. But when tilting, you want to do so nice and slow. Try to look at the whole design as it's moving, and you'll get an idea of how you want the composition to turn out. Geminis have the need to be mentally stimulated. In conversation, they're not going to care how long you had to wait at the checkout line at the grocery store. They're not going to care about what you had for lunch and every detail about it. Just get to the good stuff. That's what they want to hear about. Stuff that's interesting. Alright, so far I am absolutely loving this painting. Could easily say it's probably one of my favorites at this point. Especially when this dries, because a lot of the white you see is actually iridescent. And when it dries, that is going to pop and it is going to look great. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did not enjoy my video, I'd suggest that you take an Uber, go to your local bar, sit with a bartender and vent to them about it and ask them how to cope. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please post it in the comments section. Until next time, bye!